This episode of the Adventure Jogger is brought to you by all the folks at Patreon supporting. Thank you so much for your support. Another way you can support and also benefit is I am now personally a certified ultra running coach. So if you are in the market for an ultra running coach, head on over to ultratrailsteven.com and you can get plenty of information there. I am only accepting a few clients right now, so if you are interested, definitely go check it out. The Adventure Jogger, a podcast about trail and ultra running. Meet fascinating runners from the front, middle, and back of the pack, sharing inspiring and funny stories about life and running. Running should be fun, and so should running podcasts. I'm your host, Steven Kornhaus, and this is The Adventure Jogger. Well, on today's episode of The Adventure Jogger, I've got a guest that, if you were at the No Business 100, I'm sure undoubtedly caught your eye. And he's an awesome guy. He runs runs for the pure love of running, it looks like, and we'll get into all of that. And super excited to hear all about the story of Gill Flanigan. So welcome, Gill, to the Adventure Jogger.
All right, well, thank you. So
yeah, glad to have you on. I know we chatted previously trying to figure out how we can make this work, and I'm glad to see you got somebody to help you out. And
and
we can.
Good friends help me out here on this deal. So this is all new to me. All this stuff, probably.
We'll make it.
As you can see, I'm pretty behind the times with everything. So
well, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Gil, tell me, how you got into running in the first place. Like, have you always been a runner, or did you get into it later in life?
Yeah, I got into it later in life. Friend of mine, I don't even know. We were out one evening talking about they were going to run a half marathon, and we'd had a few drinks, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. They're like, no, you can't. It's that's at the end of April, and we're at the end of March. You don't have time to train. So,
right.
And I did, and I went and ran it, and then kind of was hooked on it then. So,
nice.
Just kind of stuck with it. And that was road race. It was running the Flying Pig half marathon.
Ah, okay. I'm very familiar with that race.
Yeah. So a lot of people know that race. So I did that and had a really good time. I actually started feeling good about myself, lost a little bit of weight, and I thought, well,
there you go.
Something else. So a little bit.
It's funny. A lot of stories seem to start with we were having a few beers and decided to do this.
Have a few beers. Say you can even get talked into a 100-mile race with boots on if you drink enough beer.
Absolutely, sounds like a bet.
Yeah.
Well, so did you do the kind of road thing for a few years, or did you get into the trails pretty soon after?
No, I did the road for a while, a couple of years. I did the half and then wanted to do a full. And then some friends of mine, actually, the people that helped me set up here and the people that helped me pace down at the business, they were doing a race, Yamacron race.
Oh, yeah. I've done that race.
Yeah, I heard about it through them. Well, I don't know if we were as close of friends then as we are now, but so I knew that country really well. I used to hunt and fish down in there a lot. And I heard them talking about this race, and I kind of secretly trained and signed up secretly, and they had no idea I was coming down till race day. So
nice.
I to run the 50K there, and then it is what it is then from then on. So that was my first 50K, and I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was in for, but I did it and I finished. And so then I just did some other things along the way. So,
yeah. So before that 50K, had you done another race longer than a half marathon, or did you go straight from half marathon to 50K?
No, I did a marathon, a couple marathons, maybe one or two full marathons. I know at least one marathon. I know I actually did one down in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Hard rock thing in Nashville. Did a full. That was probably where I did my first full down there.
Gotcha.
And did that with the people that tricked me into running the Flying Pig the first time. So the next year we that hard rock marathon in Nashville.
So the question is then, have you tricked them into running any ultra marathons yet?
No, yeah, actually, I don't know if I tricked them into it, but I've suckered them into it.
Nice.
They talked them into it. The girl that got me into the first half, they actually did the 50K at Yamacraw last year. Her and her sister.
Ah, okay.
But yeah,
Nice.
they
Nice.
don't want
Well,
nothing with the 100 miler.
just give them time. They'll probably get into that here soon.
Kind of,
Especially if they hang out with you,
yeah, there you
you
go.
know, right? So
But
what did you go from a 50K up to, like a 50 miler, or did you just go straight into no business?
no, a friend of mine is big into bike, and he found a race after I did that 50K in West Virginia, the breaks. Um,
Oh yeah. The Breaks Ultra,
yeah,
right? 40 miler, I think.
yeah, it was a 40. The first year was 40, and then the second year was 45 miler or whatever it was.
Nice.
So he brought that to my attention, and I thought, I can do that. Okay, so I went down and I did that twice. One year I had a bad year. I blew out a calf muscle pretty early on.
Oh no.
I finished that race. Yeah, I tried, but I couldn't finish it. So I went back and finished it two more times after that. So
Oh wow.
up until the 100 miler, that was my longest race.
Okay.
And
So what year was the Crawl you did the first year?
I don't even know. I don't even know, but I signed up under a different name because I wanted it to be top secret. I didn't want anybody to find out that I was running the race with. So
Nice.
showed up with a bib with a different name. They were all kind of, yeah, surprised. So
Nice.
because I wasn't sure if I could finish or not. So I didn't sit there. It's funny, a girl we trained with, she was telling me all about Yamacraw. I never opened my mouth that I was signed up for it or anything, and they were all going down, and I never told her. So to this day, she calls me a liar because I never told her I was running. She about how pretty the race is. She'd run it for us. Kind of,
That's awesome.
yeah. So,
Yeah, the Breaks race is pretty hard too. So that I know the Breaks Ultra, isn't there like a water crossing that's usually like waist deep or
and
higher?
15 or so, yeah. Yeah, you got to,
Wow.
when you go out, you cross it, and then coming back, you got to cross it again. So, uh,
Man.
yeah, it was tough, but I don't know. I didn't think it was any tougher than anything else, really. I mean, I know everybody that runs it says it's like one of the toughest daggone things they've ever done. It was, and maybe it was a long time ago now, and I just forgot. You know how you forget, and you're like, I ain't never
Oh
done that.
yeah.
6 weeks
Right.
later, well, I'll sign right up for that. So,
So
yeah,
when was the last time you did breaks? Would that have been a couple years
it was
ago?
2019, because I think they ran it. I didn't run it the year in 2020. I
Okay,
didn't sign
COVID,
up for
right.
anything. So, and I'd already run it twice, finished it twice. And I thought, well, what's enough? I don't need to do it again. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
was happy with my race.
yeah. Well, what other races have you done since then before you jumped into no business?
Golly, I don't know. I did the bubble half, the Yamacraw, the small one. They have a 20K and a 50.
Yeah.
Did that a couple times. There's a really good race, and I don't even know if they do it anymore, but I did it a couple. There's a half marathon in the Red River Gorge.
Oh
So
yeah, I've done a 50K up there. It's beautiful.
yeah, they did a 50K. This was a little small race. An older man that lived there in that part of the country put it on every year. Really nice race called the Rugged Red. Really tough
Yeah,
too. It was a hard race. That Red River Gorge is one rugged area. It's tough.
it is.
Um, I did that 2 or 3 times, and then really had no intentions of ever running 100. Uh, and
Well, what made you decide to do one?
once again, I got kind of tricked into it. Yeah, so we were volunteering at an aid station for a couple of years, 2 years in a row, and then person we was volunteering with, they're like, "You ought to run it." I said, "Nah, it's all sold out." And so they're like, "Well, put your name on the waiting list." And so I did, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks before, I'd been running long miles on Saturday, but not training for 100 miles. And then all at
Yeah.
once they had an opening, and I got the call, and it's like, all right, now I gotta put up or shut up. So yeah, so that was it. And I think deep down inside I wanted to, but if I didn't never do it, I would be fine. So
Yeah.
ran it
I
last.
know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I ran it last year, and then, and of course, when you're in the race about mile 89, you're like, I'm never doing this again. And then I get a call from the gal that pays me, and or a text that says, sign ups tonight. You better get on, So I signed up last year for the sign up.
Nice.
That whole thing with a double buckle gets to you. You got to go back
It
and get.
does.
So yeah,
Yeah. I got
uh,
mine right there.
yeah, it looks nice sitting there. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about the attire, because I remember I ran the race last year in 2023, and that's when I got my double buckle. And I remember, I don't remember where specifically, but I remember I came up on you somewhere on the course, and I passed you, but we chatted for a brief second, and I was just like, dude, that's insane, because you were wearing cargo khaki shorts and combat boots and
yeah,
no shirt, and everybody else is in there, $250 shoes and their $500 watches and all this stuff, and it was just amazing to see you out there kicking butt in what you were wearing. And so, like, how did that come about? Like, how did you start running in combat boots first?
I really don't know. I mean, when I didn't have when I'm going way back when I trained for the first half marathon, I didn't have any shoes. I didn't have anything. I just had. Actually, it was in March, so I was getting ready for turkey season, and
Yeah.
I had just a pair of the camouflage, the BDUs, the pants, the summer issue that I would wear turkey hunting, and a good fitting pair of boots. And that's kind of what I trained in to run the flying pig. Um,
Is that what you wore for the flying pig as well?
I did, yeah, but I think I may have bought a pair of shoes before the morning of the flying
Okay.
pig. It's a cheap pair at like Walmart or something, because
The morning of the race.
and maybe a week or so before, just wore them 3 or 4 times. But the whole time I was training in secret, I was wearing boots and whatever. 'Cause
Wow.
winter time it was cold. You know how March is. It's miserable,
Oh yeah.
cold weather. So, but I had some really comfortable boots. And then when I started trail training, I didn't like running on the trails with my shoes. I just felt like of course, they were road shoes or whatever, a cheap pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So I put those boots back on, and I liked the way they stuck to the ground and you could dig in with them. And I just
Yeah.
like everything about them. But since I started running, they've changed. My boot selection has changed just because they quit making what I liked.
Oh no.
Like every time I'd go back to get that pair of boots, they were gone. So I had to change to get adjusted. And so I went through a spell there where couldn't find what I liked.
Yeah.
So it's just stuck on the trails. I'm running a little slower naturally, and my feet feel good in them. So I just kind of stick it out. And
Yeah.
the first time or two I ran, and people seen the boots, they're like, wait a minute, are you or whatever? And they're like, yeah, how them feel now? And I'm like, they're a little heavy, but they'd splash out clean up.
Right.
So it's just stuck. It's just one of them things. I just feel real secure on it. I like the way you can hook the heel on some roots and really get some good footing and stuff. And
Yeah.
left it alone.
Uh,
Worked for me.
nice. Well,
Yeah.
how about the cargo shorts? Is that just what you had and decided to
Yeah.
wear, or
It's what
yeah?
yeah. And I like I tried different shorts, but then worn out cotton shorts are the best thing I can find and most comfortable. Seems like, I know everybody says cotton's rotten and you get sweaty and all that, but I swear I think they dry better than some of the tech shorts I've had before. And
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I wear. And I like the pockets. I can keep my hydration system in my pockets when they're empty, and carry
Right.
a little bit of nutrition I carry along with me.
Yeah, you
So,
don't have to carry something heavy on your back. It's
yeah,
right, in your shorts there. You're good to go.
yeah. And if you
Maybe
know,
that's a
I get
secret.
sprinkled by a t-shirt, so I don't like anything on my back. I usually take,
Yeah,
if it's the least bit warm, I shed the t-shirt pretty first thing, pretty early on.
yeah,
So
yeah. Now I know you mentioned your hydration system as well, so tell me about that.
I really don't even know. That's just one of those. I think maybe the brakes um, said I had to have the ability to carry so much water,
Right.
or they wasn't going to let me run. And it was some set to start, and I was like, "And what am I going to do?" I didn't have,
Yeah.
just you seen what it looked like. So I had the two water bottles, and I dumped them out and crunched them up, and threw them in my pocket. And they're like, "All right." So they let me run. Off I went, and that seemed to work. Uh, that seemed to, that seemed to work. But typically, me and another fellow train, we'll run. A lot of people won't even run with us because we'll run a 16 or 18 mile Saturday morning, and we don't even stop for water. We'll just run and get done, and then have
Wow.
beers. So
Wow.
yeah, well, that's just miserable, huh? But
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
I
love
don't,
it.
I don't know if I'm underthinking it or overthinking it, but
No, I think you're doing it just right. You're just running and enjoying running. You're not letting all that other stuff get in the way, and you're just
yeah,
doing it and showing everybody you don't need all this expensive gear. It's awesome.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people like it, and it's their security, that's for sure, and it's nice to have. That's true. So,
Yeah.
but I figured, when we run, and aid stations are 6, 8 miles apart, I can pretty much make that thing.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So that's not too.
Well, what about a watch? Do you wear a watch when you run, or you just go out and
Yeah,
run?
never used to. I just used to have an old wind up watch, and last year, and then my daughter-in-law bought me a nice garment, and
Oh, okay, nice.
well, yeah, I used to make fun of people with the watches. I'm like, they're running around buildings, they're going further, they're watching this. It's 90 minutes, it's got to be whatever it was, 10 miles or whatever. And I thought, but once she bought me that and I put it on, I can't run. If I show up and I don't have a watch, it's like, yeah, I just go home. I'm not running. I can't do it. And last year, that watch went out like at just before dark. It like
Oh
about
no.
7 on the run last year. So the night was tough because I couldn't even tell what time it was. I didn't know where I was at. So I struggled a little bit with it.
Oh
I
wow.
faced her, and then she had a watch. So yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, yeah,
yeah,
tell
so
me about.
just a
All right,
regular.
go ahead.
No, no, just not. I mean, just something it's nice to keep track of now and stuff. So
Right. Yeah, it's definitely nice to see all that. Well, I would say, tell me about your first no business. How did it go? Your first 100-mile race. I think you said the breaks was your furthest distance before that. So that's a
yeah.
big jump going from 45 to 100. So how did it go?
Well, it took me forever, but it went good. It went pretty good. The only thing that they threw in there that I wasn't prepared for was that river crossing twice.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I looked messed up on in my drop bags and where I wanted like socks and different things like that. So that kind of messed me up a little bit, but it went fine. Ironically enough, I finished within a minute of last year. So
Really?
yeah, yeah, I
Wow.
yeah. So I guess that's as good as it gets for me. Um,
Well, what was your finish time? What was your finish time?
like 33:08 or something like that.
Okay.
30:07, 33:08, somewhere in that ball. So
Man, Brian needs to have another like award for the person that gets both directions like as close as possible. That'd be awesome.
but I'd like that one. Yeah, that's for certain.
Right.
I was
Consistency award.
really thought like last year. Of course, this is probably getting way off key and probably shouldn't talk about it. But so last year, I got signed up late and only had 4 or 5 weeks to polish up my training before the race
Wow.
because I got signed in late. And then this year, I signed up early, but September 15th, I taken a fall out of a second floor window. So
Oh my gosh.
I so so from so I was out of commission for about 4.5, 5 weeks. I bruised up my hip real bad and busted up my foot really, really bad.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so I lost a lot of time training. So it was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the race that I finally got back to where I went out and hit the trails for 22 miles. And I
So
thought,
hold
oh,
on, you fell out of the window September 15th of this year?
of this year, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
September,
gosh, yeah, that's like what, 5 weeks before the race? Oh my
like
gosh.
6 weeks or something. Yeah. So yeah, and I lost. So I was, yeah, I fell,
Wow.
hit a carport, and then landed on my right foot and messed up my right foot. And it's
Uh,
better now, but it was pretty messed up.
wow.
But
Now was that, I'm assuming, like, I think you said before you work construction, was that like you were doing on the job or something?
no, it was probably on to talk about it, but you know, I'm really not exactly sure how everything went down that I went fell out, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I went,
Okay.
yeah. So it's a long story. Yeah, so I was maimed up a little bit
Goodness.
there for about 4 weeks. I didn't train any and just tried to heal and heal and heal. I'd run a little bit here and there. So and then let's see, yeah. So 2 weeks before the race, I finally got out and got a good 22-mile run on trails, and then the next day ran like 15. So
Wow.
that's pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, that was your test weekend to see if you were ready to go.
That was my test week. Yeah, actually, I had on schedule October 6th. We ran a marathon down in West Virginia, just a regular marathon. And that was my text there. If I couldn't run it, then I wasn't going to do no business, and I was going to
Yeah.
back. And I finished that, and I thought, okay, I didn't finish it pretty, but I finished it. I limped and hopped and did whatever I could to get finished. And
Wow.
5 hours later, I thought, okay, I can do no business. So yeah,
Man.
we did that.
Well,
Yeah,
how did no business this year go for you then?
good, good. My one foot gave me a little bit of trouble. My heel and toe was hurting pretty good, um, but it went
Yeah,
fine.
because
I can't complain. I finished. I was hoping for
yeah,
a 3:59 finish. I got a 33:08 or 33:07, whatever it was. So better than I
nice.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you got that double buckle.
yeah, got that. That was the main thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was at Duncan Hollow and I saw you come in there and I think you went over with your crew to like you took off your boots, I believe. Were you having some foot issues then, or was that from the fall or like a blister or something else?
Um, no, I was. I just changed socks. Just I had some in a
Okay.
drop bag and I wasn't sure what was what, so I just went ahead and changed them. Had them there. And I was changing. I needed a little
Okay.
break, and they weren't going to give me a break if I didn't think of an excuse. So I sat down in the back of the trailer, and then I wanted to take a nap really bad. They're like, "No, come on,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep moving." So, um,
Right.
yeah, that was Duncan Hollow. There. Yeah, I just pretty much
Okay.
socks and got going. Because
Now
that
what
was nice. You
no,
could
sorry,
stay
go ahead.
dry in that front half of the race.
Yeah.
That. I was able to stay dry and keep my feet dry all the way to there. Actually, all the way pretty much Blue Heron. It was really nice to be able to keep your feet dry.
That's
But
what I heard that you were able to hop over some rocks.
yeah. So from last year though, it was wet early on.
Yes.
Wet
Oh yeah.
race. So
Yeah, that
this
was
was
not
nice.
ideal.
Yeah. So
Right. Well, what was your I mean, your lowest point at the race this year? Did you have one during the night or maybe in the next morning, or what was your lowest point?
I don't know if I really had a low point. I had my pacer. Yeah, she's funny. So at that last aid station before we got to it, it seemed like the miles were stretching on, and I'm like, all right, that aid station's got to be here somewhere. So I started kind of getting angry about the distance between
Right.
how the aid station should be and where the aid station actually was. So I kind of had a little meltdown there, but and once I got the aid station, got picked back up. What but the lowest point was probably when I seen that sign that said Rock Creek Loop, and I knew I had to go back down the hill,
Oh,
cross the creek again, and then come back up. Oh, and I thought that's probably
yeah,
the lowest point I had in the whole race. Other than that, everything else I kind of knew, kind of expected, kind of went about as expected.
yeah,
But
yeah. That
yeah,
Rock Creek section is rough,
oh yeah, you just
especially
typing.
finishing on it.
Yeah, yeah, you got to go down that and back up. So, but
Yeah. Well,
so,
there's a couple of stories from No Business this year that I definitely got to ask you about, and one of them, the first one is there's a video floating around on Instagram of you sitting on the ground and you pick up a bottle of mustard, squirt it in your mouth. Obviously mustard works well for cramps, and then you chase that with a Miller High Life.
yeah, I like my Miller High Life.
Yeah,
Most of everybody that knows me or crews me or works around me, they know when I'm thirsty, I want a Miller High. So,
nice.
well, that's the right thing to do. But
Hey,
I had one there at Bandy Creek, I think it was, and maybe had one at Blue Heron. Mustard,
nice.
that's kind of an old thing. I don't know why, but I've always been a mustard person for cramps, and people are like,
Yeah,
"Mustard cramps." I'm like, yeah, it works. It works for
it
me.
works well. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny because one of the years we volunteered at one of the aid stations at No Business, my wife and I, and she's like, "Can I buy something for the runners?" I said, "Mustard." So I bought a great big thing of mustard, and everybody at the aid station's like, "Why would you bring mustard?" I'm like, it's good for cramps. And it's like almost no runners even touch the mustard. I don't even think it got
Yeah.
used one time. I don't know. I don't know where that went, but it's like that was an old school cramp thing. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that isn't still used pretty wide. I mean, the pickle juice and the pickles are great, but
Yeah.
not big mustard. I know last year I had the same pacer at the end this year. She's like, we got somewhere, and I'm like, I need mustard. I gotta get to an aid station with mustard, and I had some in my bag last year. So this year, she's like, I'm bringing you mustard in my pack, so when you get somewhere, you can have the mustard.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's just one of them things. I guess I'm pretty unconventional when it comes to running. Obviously, it shows.
Well,
Um,
I heard the beer count for No Business was 8. Does that sound accurate?
the one now, the beer count,
Yeah, yeah, for No Business, the beer count. I heard you had 8. Is that accurate or no?
might be a little bit on the high side, I think.
Yeah. The legend builds, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. What they say, when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. So,
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, so that might be a little high on that.
Well, it's good carbs. I mean, beers.
Yeah.
I remember I had a beer in a race once, and I swear it saved me. I was
Mhm.
totally depleted. I was bonking. I was like out of it, and I took that beer, chugged it, and I was like a new man. Just took off, and it was great.
Yeah, yeah. So, actually, that 26 miler we did before this, in West Virginia, the one was my decider if I was going to run this. I got to mile 16 or 17, and they had all this candy and garbage at the aid station like they do. And somebody mentioned beer, and I'm like, yep, I'm down for that. And they gave me a beer, and they're like, I can't believe we've never seen anybody drink a beer. I'm like, why? It does. It helps. Um,
Yeah. Well,
so,
I just had another runner on the podcast. The episode just published Monday, and he's the guy that set the world record for the distance at the Backyard Ultra, 458 miles.
oh,
And his preferred drink is a non-alcoholic beer, but he takes half of it and mixes it with Coca-Cola, like just put them together and drink it at the
what?
same time.
Really?
So I mean,
Okay.
I imagine beer and Coke together. You got the sugar from the
Well,
Coca-Cola, you got the carbs.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know
I think they're onto something.
Ron, Coca-Cola there's something miraculous about Coca-Cola. Bring you right around. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
It has
Absolutely. That saves.
about it, that's for sure. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but
the other thing I wanted to ask you about is there was a good friend of mine who was at another aid station, and I think he overheard this. There was another runner that was coming in or something that the runner was just in a bad spot. Like they were just negative, not in a good frame of mind. And my friend told me he heard you tell him, if you change your attitude, it'll be a lot better. And I just thought that was amazing. Like,
that I don't know.
I mean, that's so true though. It's
I
all,
haven't been talking to anybody and saying crazy things, just whatever
yeah,
comes to mind a lot of times. So good. Hopefully
yeah.
that made it through and finished.
Right.
Um,
I mean, that could have been the piece of advice he needed to hear.
yeah, but um, yeah, so I do enjoy, keeping people going and motivated and stuff out there. It's fun because it's tough. It really is.
Yeah.
It gets to you after a while. So
Yeah. Well, what do you think you'll run another 100 miler in boots or change it up to something else or just keep doing it because it's been working?
yeah, I mean, if I do another, if I do another 100-mile trail run, yeah, I'll do it in boots. I won't change.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
stick in my boots in the trail unless they quit making the boots I like. Then who knows? But I don't know. I'm still leery about running regular shoes. Now this year's been odd because I will say if the trails are hard and dry and gravel roads and paved roads, then boots are terrible. Um,
Yeah.
they're hard to run, but if it's wet and slimy like it is around here most of the year, then I like my boots. It's just a whole lot better. So this year was a little different. It had been droughted out here and the trails were hard. So I will say it was a little harder to run in the boots on the hard surface. But
Yeah.
when it's normal and it's springtime, it's slimy and sloppy, I won't give up. I'll wear
Yeah.
them every time. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I almost have to now. I guess you guys have all got me pigeonholed. I guess I have to wear who I am, man.
I
That's
saw people.
whatever. You know, get game together.
Right. Well, I know when me and some friends saw you, we kind of just we didn't know your name, so we kind of just nicknamed you Combat Carl because you looked like,
My loves that one. My son, I like that one. Combat Carl's perfect.
Well, honestly, like we thought you were a Marine. You have the haircut, like you look like a
Okay.
Marine.
That's just his pants falling out. So
That's
no,
awesome, though.
should have, but when I got out of high school, it was it was like go to work or nothing much going on. So
Yeah.
I didn't join. Went to work, and that was the end of my life then. So
Well, I know another name we heard somebody's mentioned on Facebook. They called you Cargo Carl for the cargo shorts as
okay.
well. So
That so
yeah,
I, unfortunately, I mean, obviously, you can see I don't do a lot of computer stuff, and I don't know a lot about it. So I miss out on all the good comments. I
yeah.
somebody send me one here or there, so I don't know what's going on out in the other world. So
Well, I'll
uh,
tell you, there was a lot of
yeah,
people that were very yeah, a lot of people that were very inspired by you and running the way you did and finishing twice, getting that double buckle and just being tough. They were a lot of people were commenting about it. It's pretty awesome.
okay, yeah, that's good. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
And try, I don't know. It's just one of those deals. It's
it's just what you
I
do.
never really set out to do anything. I just set out to try to finish.
Right. Yeah, and you did twice, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
are you I know you said if you run another 100 miler, but do you have any other races this year or anything else on the calendar for next year already?
We got the honor run here in Florence. It's a half marathon that's coming up Sunday morning. So
Nice.
I'm running that Sunday morning. Yeah. So
Okay.
after that, no, I'm just going to sit around, let the fat cells populate. Um, I don't have anything else going on. We're here at a little bar and we're talking about what we're going to do next spring because nobody knows what the hell they want to do. So
Nice.
If we can find something fun, we'll do it. But I don't have anything on plan yet. I mean, I'll still run. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
You got to have one of your friends will probably talk you into something else crazy for next year. I'm sure it sounds like.
Something. Yeah. Like in May, I went out to Bryce Canyon and I ran uh, they had the 30K out in Bryce Canyon. And so I
Oh,
did
nice.
run out there. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
Did
if
you
they
do
knew.
that one in boots too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't think
Wow,
they
nice.
knew that. Nobody really said. It's funny because I don't give it any thought, but so I did a mountain bike race September 14th or 15th, whatever it was, just before it fell. Um, and I wore the same boots that I run in on my mountain. And I'm not a very good mountain biker. I'm new to it. Friends of mine been doing it forever, and they talked me into it. And they're like, yeah, the race sounds good. It was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, or outside of Chattanooga. So I went down and rode that 40-miler on the bikes, and I got finished. And the people at the finish line are like, "Did you wear those boots?" Yeah. And that I'm like, well, what else was I supposed to wear? I don't know. They work. They stick to my pedals. So I don't give it much thought really on the boots. I can say I'm in them 9, 10, 12 hours a day anyway. So
Yeah.
comfortable too.
Yeah.
I did see some people's feet, man, that had shoes on. Their feet were beat up and a mess. And
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, you people better get you some boots and save your feet, Flip all the toenails. Um,
Yep.
and that one year we worked at aid station at mile 65, people were, their feet were destroyed. Man,
Uh,
I don't know about that. So I don't know how they run when they're that destroyed. I mean, I had a couple
right.
blisters in
It's
there.
painful.
Yeah, yeah, and then they finished too.
Yeah. So you had some blisters this year, a couple?
Yeah, I had a couple, but none, nothing major. We got to the aid station there, and I blew heron the last time, and I just kind of, you know, drained them and put my socks back on and kept on trucking. So, and that was it. That was the only issue I had. And actually, I think that was from hiking through the night, and that
Oh, yeah.
in the road from Duncan to Ledbetter is just a beat up, miserable section to do in dark. And
Yes, it is.
probably just from hiking in that, if I can stay running in them, I don't usually have too much trouble at all.
Yeah.
Stepping weird and hiking weird when you're hiking at night. So, and that's a rough section.
It is. It's got a lot of horse trail type stuff, sand places, and just yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's at night. It's just terrible, miserable. It's yeah. You're beat up pretty good there, and then you think, God, man, keep on trucking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Well, how has your recovery been since no business? It's only been a couple of weeks, so have you been fine and no issues?
good. Yeah, no issues. I took last Saturday off, went on a fishing trip, and it must have caught up to me because last Saturday evening around 6:30, I had dinner and then I laid down in the bed and I didn't wake up till 5:30 the next morning. Had plans on going fishing that night. I didn't never get out of bed again. It was like, so
Yeah.
work Monday and, yeah, and I ran last week a couple of days and then I ran tonight ran tonight and then ran last night too. So
Yeah.
back on it. So then I've got this half marathon coming up Sunday, and
Right.
then I get to
So
relax.
so after the race, when did you have to go back to work that following Monday, or were you taking any time off at all, or you were back to work?
Well, I had plans to go back to work. Of course, it's a long, crazy story, and I probably should get into it. So, but I had plans to go back to work. I had work, but so on our way when we left the campground there, when we left the campground on our way out and headed home, our transmission broke in our truck. So
Oh no.
yeah. So I get it towed to the top of the hill with a Jeep. We had a Jeep with us. Uh, I get the camper towed to the top of the hill. My oldest son, we live about 4 hours from no business there. And
Okay.
it's a very old truck camp. And I had another transmission at my house. So I had my oldest son who was there, but he'd left early. So we got a hold of him and he went home and got a transmission and brought it back. So we changed the transmission there Sunday afternoon on the side of the road. And then
The day after the race.
yeah, right after the race. So,
Oh my gosh.
crazy things like that happen. Um, so
Wow.
so Monday, that messed my Sunday up of getting home and unpacking and doing all.
Sure.
I went into work for just a couple hours and just kind of lined some things up, and then I went home. Took it easy the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Just cleaning the camper up and getting it ready to put back in storage. So, yeah. So crazy. I get crazy stories like that all the time. So, I think it's your number. I'll send you a picture of the transmission in the truck broke down on the
Oh
side.
man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing something like that less than 24 hours after finishing a 100-mile race. That's just that's.
Yeah, we were talking last night on the run, a girl, and I said, "How many people do you think?" And I wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't going to tell you this. I thought I'll just keep it quiet. I don't like talking about stuff like that. I'm a pretty private person.
Yeah.
And I said, "How many people do you think ran the 100-miler and the next day changed the transmission?" She said, "One person." And one person that did that, I can assure you.
Seriously.
So, yeah. So it's crazy. Little things like that happen.
That's yeah.
But we
Well,
did it.
that's
We did it right there.
man.
Yeah.
Well, man, I was just gonna say I love what you're doing, just out there running and showing people that they don't need all this expensive fancy gear. You know, I know that's not what your intention to show people that, but it's like people see it and they're yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, it's just, it works for me. Um, and yeah, I just like, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if I really consider myself a runner. I just kind of out here just doing something. Um, but I guess
Well,
I run, so I guess I am a runner. So,
I think you got to call yourself a runner. You've done some marathons, you've done 100-mile races. I mean,
yeah,
you're a runner.
yeah, that's yeah. I just, I don't know. It's different. So, the group where I run, you know, and we meet together. I got the cargo shorts on every time I run, and people are like, I get a lot of strange stares from people. And then in the wintertime, I've got my BDUs, my military, the pants, my turkey hunting pants, and everybody's like, "Why you wear them?" I'm like, "They're the most comfortable thing I got, and that's just what I wear." They're the summer
Yeah.
at the little thread in them, so um, that's what I wear in the wintertime because I don't like being cold.
Well, it's only a matter of time before somebody like Solomon comes along and starts making some cargo shorts for running like they did for Courtney Walter. How she's always wearing those long shorts, you know? It'll be the
Okay,
next thing.
yeah, won't be long. So I did have a
Yeah.
friend of mine years ago. When I ran in my boots, he's like, "You need to contact the boot company and tell them, and this and the other. Send them a letter." Of course, I don't know how to do any of that stuff, so it is
Yeah.
not that
That and
I'm
maybe
out of them.
maybe you can get French's, the mustard company to send you bottles of mustard as well. There you go.
Yeah, I did have a Hoka girl there. She sent me a pair of Hoka shoes one year, and I
Did you
tried.
really?
Yeah, yeah. She seen me finish the Emacrawl in them. She's like, "We're gonna get you some Hoka shoes," and
That's awesome.
yeah, she did it, and great shoes. But I wore them once or twice on a trail training run, and I'm like, and they were good shoes. They fit good. They felt good, but I just couldn't
Just
get.
not your boots.
Yeah, they just didn't fit the niche like I thought.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
went back to my boots. So her and I are still friends. I talked to her there at the end of the race, before the race, and uh, so she
Yeah.
must have a challenge. She's gonna have a throwdown one day. We're gonna have a trail race. She's gonna wear her Hokas. I'm gonna wear my boots. So
There you go. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Hoka's a great brand. They're very supportive of no business and Ryan's Yammer Crawl race. It's
Yeah,
fantastic to see them involved.
yeah, they've been always been nice to me, even though I don't wear their shoes, So and they always
Yep. Yeah.
if I show up in Hocus one day, they all might quit their jobs or something.
Well, we can't have that. We can't have them
No,
without jobs,
yeah, that's right. So
That's right.
yeah,
Oh man.
so I don't.
Well, Gil, I mean, it's been awesome. Just kind of hearing your stories, hearing these stories about changing the transmission. Insane, and just chatting with you, learning a little bit about you, man. It's been fun, and I've been enjoying having you on. And
Way out of my element here doing this kind of thing. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully we got what we
oh, it's great.
what
Oh, it's great, man. A lot of people are gonna love the conversation, I'm sure, and it's been fun. So I appreciate you taking the time. I know we had to kind of work through some issues to get you on. I'm happy you got somebody to help you out, and we're able to get it worked out. It's been fun.
Yeah, the same people that helped me out here is the ones that got me suckered into the no business.
Good friends, good friends.
Yeah, great folks. So,
That's right. Yeah.
No, good deal. I'm glad to do it.
Yeah.
I was torn a little bit. I'm not. This is kind of out of my element, but
Right.
I'm kind of a secretive person and a kind of a quiet, reclusive person. I kind of keep to myself a lot of times. So, but I don't mind
Knowing that,
talking. I like to talk.
I'll just say, well, knowing that, I really do appreciate you coming on then and sharing about yourself and your story and taking a little bit out of that private world to bring to us and share. It's been great. So,
Good deal. I
yeah.
hope I'll see more people on the trails.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Gil. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode of The Adventure Jogger, please consider joining our Patreon and be sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok for more content like this. Without your continued support, we would not be able to produce this type of content. So thank you so much to everyone that has listened, followed along, subscribed, liked, commented, you name it, donated on Patreon. Thank you.